I think we're fortunate to have Duncan here because you have experienced those realms. It has been mind-bending. You've had to adjust back into a kind of human sphere. Can you talk about that process of encountering and being traumatized in a sense and having to readjust back to this reality? Or maybe...
Yes, I was in a number of research projects back in the 70s and 80s that actually created a fixed time loop back into the 40s, which was a experimentation during wartime called the Rainbow Project Philadelphia experiment, where a certain X amount of people were back there in the 40s and in the 80s. And part of the dynamics that happens during a processing out of this physical realm. What I know, there are 12 potentials in this realm that come in and can manifest. There are certain local realities and consciousness that steer this inertia and framework. We're moving in a direction, there's a local collective consciousness. When someone steps out of that collective, there's almost a snapping back.
Because it's not allowed. I mean,
it's not allowed. It's because we have this elemental part of us that is in our subconscious, the animal. It's way down in the subconscious, 9th and 10th subconscious, that actually is scanning everyone here, the animal, which is a protective hunker down, food, sexuality, is scanning here for our safety and health and welfare.
So you experience realities that were incomprehensible to the human mind in that sense.
In a sense, my training basically was, I was next to a nuclear detonation device that blew out my psyche. So what was happening linearly in time was happening simultaneously. There wasn't an accounting of what I know of time as movements moving in a particular direction with a reflection back, an accounting of it, and therefore validating this physical existence.
I think you just blew out my psyche.
When you don't have as a voice is reflecting off the wall, if there's not a reflection back, there is not an accounting of one's existence.
So it's an annihilation of ego sense.
Could be. But what I'm driving at is this physical reality in the direction we're moving, we're continually to processing and helping it. We've actually got to what I know from some of research with Preston Nichols. We're actually out, we've gone through this process 7 times all right. As a reality, we backed down and we started again. All the records have been erased, folks. We're on the 8th term, which is kind of infinity.
I think we're going to make it this time.
And consciousness is rising. So the idea is to try to be conscious of your surroundings, what you're doing, and bring up that animal part of you, which is not the food shelter. Basically, it's your sensory mechanism of your body. Anyone here, if they just step aside, it's body positioning. 18 inches either side, wherever you stand or sit, adjust that way. Because your body, that 3D, the ego part of you, is going to position you in a familiarity in this physical framework, this time inertia. Step out of that by just moving a foot 18 inches, and you're more connected to who you truly are.
Duncan, you've had like 13 abductions. Could you just briefly mention some of those experiences?
Yeah, most of mine having to do with the military. I was groomed for a number of experimentations. It had to do with making sure I was online to be somewhat traumatized and abused in order to get to the point where I would accept information and commands without questioning, which is a perfect military person.
Right. I want to talk about the military, and we'll kind of go another round, and then we'll have questions from the audience. But
yeah, in a sense, if the protective layers, everyone has protective layers within their mind function that's standardized. And this gets very quickly into sexuality, which is some of the research in some of the black ops, is to have someone go into a physical resonance of the body and whether it's physical sexuality or not. ESP is down in the third and fourth level of subconscious. Most people don't sleep deeply enough there. And part of that process, when a person comes to physical resonance or an orgasm, just before a person goes off physically, the mind opens up, and in that open state, information can be brought down in. A lot of people at the night after, hey, this is great sex, but I don't feel good. They're actually taking on patterns of the other person because they're in that open state.
Well, you're talking about, we have to redefine ourselves. Who
Kind of disclosure in an offbeat way. Some of the research a number of people have been involved in came to something called the Montauk chair. It was this off-planet technology that had sensors all over the body. It was detecting the biofields. Part of some of the research went into anyone with a bit of training could connect up to this esoteric, this hardware was huge psychoactive hardware that could outrun the speed of light. Everyone here, our consciousness in a level of awareness can outrun any computer, anywhere, anytime. That's how incredibly connected we are. We get used to familiarity in this physical dimension. Recently I had awakening and I saw a lifespan of a person within 2.7 something seconds. And I started doing the math on this, like, holy mackerel, or if indeed that's a small slice, X amount of people, is that how slowed down we are and we get used to that?
So you're saying we're already, in a sense, beyond disclosure. We already are equal, in a sense, to these ET consciousnesses. It's just like this mass collective that has to catch up with who we think we are.
Sure, good,
Okay.
good job.
Thank
Thank you for helping me in my time of need.
I think we are in the process of was to reorientate us from a solar idea, the sun and planets, to a galactic understanding. So we are coming into an awareness that we're part of a galactic family. Any comments on that, Duncan and Richard? Duncan?
Yeah, I'd just like to address the 2012. Part of my research is to the different levels of the mind and the psyche, as to conscious, superconscious, down in the subconscious. And part of something back years ago when I was working closely with Preston Nichols, he was helping to deprogram some of the fellows in the military. He got down into the fourth level of subconscious and then nothing. They would just get down. It was this brick wall. And what we later validated to each other's satisfaction, what I know is the ego denial wall. It's a matter of process of part of us pull down the information to take it out of our face so we can move it throughout the day and get some sleep. Also, the building block of 2012, which has passed, is the same building block as the ego denial wall between the fourth and fifth subconscious.
So we
That's how connected we are, gang, in reality. Are you getting this? 2012 is the consciousness between the fourth and fifth level subconscious.
So
We're moving past that. We're moving all the process. We're actually getting down more into our subconscious. We're part of someone, the yogis can control their heart rate down to the fifth level, get down to sixth level where the fears and anger is, and down to the ninth and 10th subconscious level. And that is where your Sasquatch is, your interdimensional being, which is part of the closest thing to what most people call of the higher self before it comes in the earth plane. It's right in the middle of our mind function, totally insulated. And when someone starts to get into who they are, connected, go 18 inches either side, basically as a connected. Energy starts coming in through the head of the higher frequencies and starts coming through the earth, and it actually starts creating a infinity sign. The body is in the center of your mind. 99% of the people spend their time in their mind. The idea is they're off center. Move your body foot and a half and start relaxing, and you are the infinite self. Everyone here is infinity.
So, Duncan, you're saying 2012 marked the place of greater consciousness for all of us.
That's how we all move through the past, 7 times physically that we've gone and all our records have been erased. We're moving past that, gang. This is extraordinary. Get into your infinite self. Your body is your infinity. Try to relax and replace your body so you can connect up with the higher frequencies off planet, lower frequencies. Figure 8, heart, crosses in the chest here. We're already there. It's just a matter of catching up with ourselves. Some of the research into expansion. We all like things where the way we like it, part of the human condition. Wilhelm Reich was a researcher in sexuality, and he found that his carry-on fellow, I forgot his name directly, he found that a little bit of expansion is good, and then we contract, a little bit of expansion. There is a fair amount of sales hypnosis out there to expand you really quickly for splat.
There's what politics does.
Politics, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's a way, it's frontal energy. It's someone who comes in at you and then gets you off balance and takes it. There are 8 patterns that come off the TV, 8 patterns. One of those patterns goes back through the TV to the transmitter tower, folks. And why that is the case is it's filling in part of us that we don't have enough stimulation and we're giving it back away. And that was the research I was involved in the 70s and 80s, where they were sending signals across country in order to find out what people were guarded and unguarded with. And the research came back as it's just like, okay, people are giving away whatever they have and we're gonna take it for utilizing it for our research. So the idea is to start getting to simple affirmation or something that you are pure, you are clean, you are with God, you are your own God, and you don't need a savior outside yourself. My research into different levels of the mind and consciousness. 99.9%, that's an emotional statement, we all stay in a particular level of the mind. There is what was the ego denial wall 2012, there's a barrier between 4th and 5th level subconscious. There is a constructive layer between all the different layers of the mind, what I know 19 and a half different levels. The lowest shared up to the most high. That in between level, that's your extension off this reality. Because it's not in this, as in we're in this room and we're in that room. It's halfway in between. It's actually a 2D, 3D realm. Going in with our level of consciousness, we actually can go, it's just like you're trying to be conscious going in there. It's like going up to a wall and using your body as a sensor. Your body knows where the wall is with your eyes closed. To me, this physical reality is black, folks. This is part of a reconstructive, we're in the creation zone of moving ahead. So there's a lot going on. So if I could get you, when you start going to sleep, just push those layers of your mind and just try to stay awake. Go to a candle and just continue to push those layers to get down in and try to get in between. Thomas Edison was rumored to have a number of steel balls, looking for new ideas. If he got too close to sleep, he'd drop them. He didn't want to go to sleep. He was looking for the in-between state, which is the natural sideways connection off this physical reality. And it's a 2D, 3D construct with our consciousness. You can actually fill in the void and actually go to a realm where it's the magic field where things actually can create. Everyone uses it every day. Get the in-between state, go out there, which is another 2D, 3D realm, bring that information, and you can physically start manifesting.
Well, thank you. I think...